Hi, my name is Rebecca. I have narcolepsy, and this is my channel, My Narcoleptic Life. Today I am answering the question, do I drive? So, quick disclaimer, I'm not a medical professional, and I do not speak for everybody who has narcolepsy. So, talk to a real medical professional, and if you or somebody in your life has narcolepsy, you're not necessarily exactly the same as me. Pay attention to your body and to your symptoms, and talk with your doctor. So, I constantly get asked when people find out I have narcolepsy, can I drive? Yes, sometimes is the short answer. It's a little bit more complicated with that, and I'll get into that. So again, I don't speak for everybody who has narcolepsy. Some people with narcolepsy choose not to drive because it's not safe. They are experiencing so much cataplexy or sleepiness or sleep attacks or microsleeps that they understand and they feel it is not safe for them to drive. Sometimes that can be frustrating for loved ones, and it can be hard to be understanding when you maybe have someone like that in your life and you feel like, oh, they're a burden because they constantly like need a ride somewhere. Please know everybody has to make this decision for themselves. My decision does not reflect everybody with narcolepsy's decision. So let's talk a little bit about my decision. I said sometimes. So honestly, if I lived in a city with like real public transportation, I probably would not drive. I would just use the public transportation. Now I don't. I live in a more rural area. A vehicle is necessary. There's no bus, tram, subway, whatever that's going to get me to where I need to go. United States public transportation isn't great in general compared to like Europe, but especially if you leave the like metropolitan areas and you go out to the suburbs or to the rural communities, you have to have a car in the United States. It's really just not an option. So that being said, I am very cognizant about when it is safe or not safe for me to drive. I absolutely will fall asleep driving if I'm experiencing sleepiness, and I know this. So I know how to manage this beyond just like taking my medicine. If I'm feeling too sleepy to drive, I have to be honest with myself and not drive. Even if that makes me late or even if it's inconvenient, I have to make a choice sometimes not to drive. I also know that certain times of day are worse than others. So I do not drive myself to work in the mornings. It is not safe for me to drive in the morning. I'm extremely groggy. Even if I don't fall asleep driving, I'm so groggy. I don't make good or quick decisions. So if somebody were to pull out in front of me, I don't know that I would hit the brakes, or I wouldn't truly check before changing lanes. I could clip somebody. Excuse me. It's not safe for me to drive early in the morning. So how my morning routine works is my husband and I work in the same town. It's only about 15 minutes from the house. He drives to his work, and then I walk from his work to my work. And he's not like a horrible person for not taking me straight to work. That morning walk helps to wake me up, and it's much safer than if I were to get behind the wheel of a car and drive. If the weather's bad, he drops me off at work. Or he sometimes drops me off at my favorite little coffee shop, and I walk from there to my work. I also don't drive super late at night. I guess weird perk of narcolepsy is my friends very rarely ask me to be the designated driver. I usually get out of that because I will fall asleep sometimes whenever I am driving, and they're aware of that. If I'm feeling sleepy while I'm driving, I will either pull over and make sure I'm in a relatively safe parking lot, not a gas station, a well-lit, safe parking lot. I'll lock my doors and take a quick nap. Sometimes I'll pull over and I'll like exercise or just get up and move around enough to wake up. The other like just tips and tricks are I'll call somebody and talk to them on the phone, and they'll ask me questions, and that kind of keeps me awake. Or I chew minty gum. Eating sunflower seeds, pistachios, just kind of annoying, frustrating to eat food. That'll help keep me awake. Turning your music up and like the air conditioner, that doesn't do much for me personally. Sometimes an audiobook is good if it's like a mystery or a crime, something really like gripping. Don't choose like a self-help book that's going to put you to sleep. Having safe people that you can call while you're driving is also really helpful. So I have a few people that I know I can call because we've had this conversation, and I can say, I'm driving right now and I feel really sleepy. Can you help me stay awake? And those friends and those family members understand what this means and how to keep me awake. And the best way to do this is to keep me talking. Ask me questions. You don't even have to listen to the answer. Just keep me talking, and that'll help to wake me up. If you can laugh or joke or ask me some like outrageous question, that helps too. I have coworkers, friends, family that they just understand, and I have somebody that I can call no matter what the time of day is, and they would understand what I'm asking them to do, and they would help do that. And I've just pulled over and slept in parking lots sometimes. Again, choose one that's well lit. If you can see a security camera, park within sight of the security camera, lock your doors, and take a nap. It happens sometimes. Falling asleep driving was one of the things that led me to kind of seek a diagnosis, and um, it was well managed early on in my condition. My symptoms have on and off evolved. So when I go to work in the mornings, I used to drive myself to work, and what ended that for me was I was really tired one day, and I got in the driver's seat in my driveway and put my head down on the steering wheel and went to sleep. I don't think I ever cranked the car. I just fell asleep in the driveway before I ever pulled out. And that was when I was like, this is not good. But beyond the fact that it's not safe, I'm also late to work because I'm sleeping in the driveway. And also, I know that my family especially was very worried about me in the mornings, because more than one time I had not made it to work on time, and they didn't really know where I was. And one of the last days that I drove myself to work, my boss called my mom because she was my emergency contact that she could get a hold of, and she said, Rebecca never showed up today, and we can't get a hold of her. And I know my mom drove the route that she knew I take home, checking ditches and being concerned. And I don't want to cause stress on my family. And I can imagine how scary that must have been. I also have friends that if I'm hanging out with them and I'm leaving, they'll check in with me, especially if they know if I have a long drive. Like, can you make it? Do you need to crash here? Do you want something to drink or eat? And then they'll say, like, text me when you get to where you're going, or they'll talk to me on the phone. So I have some of those, like, accountability partners. But I also have to be accountable for myself. I have to be honest with myself. Am I in a waking state where I can drive or not? I would argue that some people with narcolepsy are more aware of their level of sleepiness than people who aren't. I for sure know, like, I feel like I'm good at monitoring it, whereas other people get in the car and they don't say, like, am I too sleepy to drive right now? I think I do. I also avoid roads that I know will make me a little bit sleepy than others. Interstates are they're sleepy. Oh my gosh, I have a hard time on the interstate. And I avoid times of the day that make me sleepy. I also drive a stick shift, and I think that helps. It's a little bit more of a active driving. I don't know, it's more work to drive, I guess, than an automatic, and I think that helps keep me awake a little bit too. But seriously, just being honest with myself and having those accountability partners, that's the best advice I can give. If you are worried that your narcolepsy is so bad that you can't drive, the worry should say something. So, have someone you can talk to, have a trusted friend or family member, ask for their opinion, ask what they think. And if it's an option for me not to drive, I always take the option. If a friend volunteers to drive, I'm always good with that. If I can take a bus to get there, I will always do that. If I can walk, I will do that. If there's an alternative, I will take the alternative, hands down, every time. And so I do limit my driving to make sure that I'm safe. So, short answer, or that was a longer answer, I guess, to the question, can people with narcolepsy drive? Yes, I can drive. I just have to be careful. And again, don't use my experience to judge or influence, I guess, yourself or other people that in your life maybe that have narcolepsy. I don't know, it can be challenging. If you're raising right now a teenager that is thinking about getting a driver's license and they have narcolepsy, it's scary anytime a teenager is getting a driver's license. And so I understand maybe experiencing some fear right now if you're a parent and your child has narcolepsy. Yeah, that, I mean, it's got to be scary. And so, like, really talk with them and have that serious conversation and make sure that it's a safe idea for them and for you. So, I think that's all I have to say. So, I think that's it. I think that answers the question. If you have any follow-up questions, let me know in the comments, and I would be happy to answer those. Thank you so much for watching.